I've been getting a lot of questions about the new CADS certification from the IYCA, the Certified Athletic Development Specialist certification that we now offer. And a lot of the questions are geared around how is the CADS certification different from the main certifications offered by other organizations like the NSCA, ACSM, NASM, and others. So first of all, I want to just explain that these certifications are incredibly different, very different. The CADS certification is not really anything like those other certifications. I also want to make sure that you understand that those other certifications are also great certifications. They're just very different. So I'm going to explain some of the differences here in this video so that you understand what the new CADS program is all about, why it's different, and how it's different, not just that you think one is better than the other. They're just very different certifications. So to start off with, the most simple way that I can kind of put it in the differences is when you are taking certifications from some of the other organizations, one, it's kind of like taking a college course with a lot of scientific background to it, and it is mainly taught kind of like a college course where you're memorizing certain things and then taking a test. The main thing to remember there is that the focus of the other organizations is on the exam, not so much the materials. And I'll explain why that is in just a second. On the other hand, the IYCA CADS certification, instead of being like a college course, think of it more as your internship or your practicum. The CADS program is not just about what the science of physiology and biology and biochemistry is all about, although there is a lot of that as the foundation of the program. But the CADS program is more about the practical application of that knowledge. So you can see that right off the bat, it's very different. If you took a lot of college courses and also did an internship, you'll know right away that those two things are very different. And that's kind of one of the main differences, the main ways I can explain the differences between the CADS certification and some of the others. Some of the other things that are very different is the CADS certification is the only course that includes a lot of information on long-term athlete development and how to properly and adequately address each level of development. Inside of our LTAD course in the CADS program, you're going to get a huge background on different ways other countries have tried to implement athletic development programs. You're going to learn about the different stages of development, what's happening in those stages, and then there's also a lot of practical programming options and ideas in there. You'll have video instruction that will teach you the different exercises and drills to develop coordination and athleticism, and then you're also going to learn how to develop programs through templates, sample programs, and explanations of how to best address the needs of each developmental level. So the LTAD part of the CADS program is very different. Another difference is in the CADS program, there's an entire section devoted to how to teach athletes how to move. There's a whole speed and agility mechanics teaching section that is not included in any of the other certification courses. So to us at the IYCA, teaching athletes how to move is a huge part of being an athlete, and the CADS program is the only certification course that really addresses that in great detail. Another major difference is in the CADS program, there's a lot of information about coaching, how to coach, how to organize training sessions, how to make a difference in an athlete's life. We believe at the IYCA that it's not just about the science and the programming, but actual coaching and implementation is a huge part of working with athletes. So the CADS program has an entire section devoted to how to be a better coach and how to go about those things. None of the other certifications address that. The CADS program is the only one that does. Finally, another major difference is the CADS certification also includes a whole section on business development. Now, you may not be in business, and that may not affect you, but we at the IYCA believe that a huge part of working with young athletes is understanding how to interact with different organizations, parents, and how to turn it into kind of a business. Whether you're in a school setting or you're in a private setting, no matter what, you're basically running a business because you have to turn your training sessions into exceptional experiences so that young athletes want to come back for more. So we have a whole section devoted to that as well. Of course, there are sections on strength training and program design. We've brought in experts from all over the world to help us with this, and the CADS program will address everything that you need to know, from addressing kids as young as 6 all the way up till 18 years old, and then even past 18 years old. But it's the only program that out there that's going to include all of that information. Now, one of the reasons, or what I was talking about earlier on the other organizations being more about the exam, is because we at the IYCA were also going to go down the road of accreditation. Now, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on what accreditation is, but I'll kind of explain. Accreditation is when you hire a psychometrician, you pay that person a lot of money to come in, form committees of experts to figure out what professionals need to know in order to carry out their job. From there, other committees start to determine what questions and what information is important and how to ask those questions. The psychometrician then helps feed a bank of questions into an exam in an appropriate level, in appropriate ways, and appropriately worded, so that the exam adequately addresses the knowledge base needed to carry out your job. That's a huge part of the accreditation process, to make sure, that is the accreditation process, to make sure the exam tests the knowledge needed to carry out your duties as a professional. Well, that is what the other organizations have done. They have created exams, and you'll notice that with other organizations, when you go to take the exam, you're writing a check to a separate organization because that is what is necessary in order to go through the entire accreditation process. Well, we went through all of that. And after that, so we created an excellent exam that really does adequately address the knowledge needed to do what we do, working with young athletes to develop them more fully. What we found out after that is that in order to get an accreditation status, you have to completely separate the material, the knowledge, the educational materials from the exam. And that is where we at the IYCA decided we had to put our foot down. That is not what we stand for. And it was a very painful process and learning experience. It cost a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of energy, but we decided that it wasn't the right thing to do to separate the education component from the exam. The IYCA has always stood for educating coaches so that we can all create more exceptional training experiences for young athletes. If we turned it into just the exam, we'd no longer have any real input on how to educate coaches to be better coaches. We didn't want to do that. So we decided that we were going to take that incredible exam we had, the incredible knowledge base, all the information from our awesome committees of dozens and dozens of professionals from all over the world who had input on all of this, and we were going to have the best of both worlds. We were going to have this great exam, but we were also going to be able to pour our time, energy, and resources into the best educational content that we could possibly create. And that's what we did with the Certified Athletic Development Specialist, the CADS program that you can now get. It includes everything. You don't have to purchase your educational materials separately from the exam. It all comes together. You get all of the videos, you get hours and hours of video instruction, you get 2 textbooks, you get all of the speed and agility instruction, you also get the business development section. And you even get a very unique new training template for warm-up routines that will guarantee that you are able to adequately address the needs of all athletes within a warm-up routine for long-term success. So there's a lot of information that's in there. It's very different from any of the other organizations or any other certification that's out there. And hopefully this helps clear up some of the difference between the new CADS certification and what else is out there as far as certifications. So I hope you check it out. You can go to IYCA.org, go into the store, and you can learn more about the new Certified Athletic Development Specialist certification.